Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the DeCourcy Diaries podcast. We are here with a very special guest today, Miss Gwen. Hello.
Hi.
I'm going to give a quick intro about Gwen. This is actually her first ever podcast experience, so we're trying to ease her into it, not scare her away. And today we're going to talk about some really cool stuff. For those of you that don't know Gwen already, Gwen is the founder of Rooni Studio, which is an amazing floral design business that is honestly anything but, you know, your typical idea of a floral business. I found Gwen... When did we come together? Probably.
I don't know. I think it was just through Instagram.
Yeah, probably within this past year we found each other.
But I came for a service and then you're like, oh my God.
Exactly. And honestly, as soon as I saw your work, I was like, my jaw was actually on the floor. I think I sent it to like every single one of them. I was like, look at this.
She came in, she goes, guys, look at this florist that I just
You're never going to guess. So today we're going to talk about the art of creativity, entrepreneurship, and really just self-expression in general.
Cool.
Gwen's journey is definitely one of a bold vision and a lot of passion, with roots that started in photography and visual merchandising. She's built a brand for creating unforgettable moments through bold, impactful floral arrangements. Since founding Rooni Studio in 2023, right?
Yes.
Gwen has been making waves in the floral industry, blending her artistic eye with her entrepreneurial spirit. We love that.
Oh my
That's
God,
so good.
I could cry.
Today we'll be talking about Gwen's path to floristry, the unique aesthetic that sets Rooni apart, and how she uses flowers to craft meaningful, awe-inspired designs. Plus, at the end, we have a little fun, some questions exploring the connection between florals and beauty, and also Gwen's creative take on both of these worlds. So whether you're a fellow creative, a beauty enthusiast, or just someone looking for inspiration, today's episode is packed with insights and inspiration that you don't want to miss. Grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive in.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
That was so sweet. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, of course. Is there anything you want to piggyback off of? Did I miss anything inherently?
I blacked out. Like, it was so nice.
It's okay, me too.
I really did. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, good. I'm glad I did it good.
That's me. That's about me.
I'm not blacking out. I'm listening, guys.
Okay, thanks. Can you validate really quick?
Yeah,
Okay,
validate.
thanks.
Okay. Fact check.
Yeah, fact check us on our own life. So a couple of first questions I have are kind of more personal journey, just like how you got into this. So first question, can you tell us more about your journey from photography and visual merchandising to floral artistry? What's kind of the encompassing term? Is it like floral design?
Floristry.
Is that the best? Floristry,
Yeah.
Okay.
Photography is something I started as a kid. I just was always creative and somebody put a camera in my hand and then, that took off. And I always had it with me. And through high school and everything, I was always in the arts classes. And I went to a photography school, like a 2-year program, but dropped out of that because I was getting bad grades.
I'm a college dropout too.
Oh, sick.
College dropouts in one room.
It was more so like I couldn't envision myself being a photographer and like asking for money for it. Like I was just in this weird place of like, this is art and like whatever. And I was still getting bad grades because I wasn't getting the assignments right and what the teachers were doing. So it was just like a weird place.
Also, I feel monetizing your hobby is the quickest way to kill it.
Yeah. So, that's interesting when it comes to flowers. I mean, like we'll get to that, but like it definitely feels different. And maybe I was just naive and young, like, and not really certain that was the right path for me. And that was just how it came out. But yeah, so I was always an artsy kid. And then I started working right out of high school, a couple jobs, and then I got to working for Gap. Ooh. And, I know, I love Gap. Some people don't like Gap.
No,
and I'm like,
Gap
fuck with
slays.
Gap.
Yeah.
I will
The quality
always.
is...
Yeah,
it's
for
good
sure.
quality.
They have been popping off recently.
I know.
Gap is coming back, everyone. You heard it
I
here
went on a
first.
personal journey with Gap. Like I was, they, like all retailers struggled and they were closing stores and I, got laid off a bunch of times and just came back in and whatever. But yeah, just started as a retail employee and was just super creative and was good at my job and just learned how to be a visual merchandiser, which is the person that places all the product in the store. So always like it's probably a little bit of OCD of like how things in my mind should be, but I could very easily take like the planogram. That's what it's called when you're like setting out a store and merchandise.
Ooh, okay.
Just implement it, and I really enjoyed making things look visually appealing, and in turn understanding like how a buyer and a customer views things. So taking them on a path through the section of the store, starting with this product and moving to the next, and setting outfits out, unconsciously for that person to be like, So
not everyone can like see it like that. Like, I think it's truly a gift to be able to like see things in that way. I don't think it's like necessarily an acquired skill. I think it's something you kind of just like have or you don't. The visual aesthetics, like people that are visually driven, we know exactly what we want to see, and everyone that isn't like that always says, oh, I could never do that. I could never do interior design. I could never design something or whatever, or floral design, anything. And it's like anyone could, but could they really? You know? I think it's a gift. I think it's more
definitely
of a gift.
In terms of like retail merchandising, it's something that can be learned and taught, right? But like having an innate visual perspective, whether that would come off to my manager as, no, this needs to move, or me being like, no, like this is going to sell here, and just understanding the whys.
True.
So I worked my way up. I worked in New York. Like I wanted to just get out of my mom's house.
Quick question. Sorry. So I just recently learned about consumer psychology of how you lay out a store. Kind of like the last aisle by the cashier is little quick mindless things. Like, did you have to learn about that when you were learning how to plan a store?
Somewhat. Those things, especially in like clothing retail, it's usually like minimal. Like there'll be like socks or like just one last minute grab. But definitely starting from the front of the store. Like, where do you want that customer to go? They would have, key items in each section of the store. And it's like, how do you get the customer to go to that key item and buy around it? So yeah, a little bit. But I mean, I didn't go to school for it. I certainly tried. Like, I was like, maybe try a business class. And it was just like, I could never match the joy that I felt just working versus like going home and reading a book or following along in a class. Through experience and just trial and error is how I learned. So.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. I feel like that job is a little bit more of like a blend of skill and like acquired skill and natural. But now what you're doing is like, I would say there is a lot of acquired skill that goes into it as far as like science and like how you cut the stems and things like that. That's more like scientific, but I think majority of it is like very all creative. Most people cannot just think of a floral arrangement and execute it, you know what I mean? Like it's very hard to do. With all that being said, like what inspired you to launch Rooni Studio when it was 2023? How did your experience go with like, what was there a moment where you were like, I want to do this, or was it kind of a gradual build? Like kind of tell me about how that went.
I have a lot of entrepreneurs in my family, and I always looked up to them. Started their own businesses, ran their own businesses, whether they failed or there was multiple or they're still going on today. And I always like wanted to do that for myself. And I think after getting laid off from Gap like multiple times, I was like done.
They would fire you and then you'd go back?
Yeah, well, they would close a store.
Oh, it would be like a different location. Yeah.
And then I had, I could get rehired at another
Got
store.
it.
But then COVID.
I was going to say, they don't know how to stick to their
No, I mean, it's just, they had so many stores and it gets to a point where it's like, okay, we're not doing that good. We need to close the store.
Dang.
But then COVID hit. I was working in Philly and I was like, this is it. Like, I'm not going to go back to them. There was nothing that they did wrong. It was just like the final straw of like, I need to get out of retail. So I tried small business retail and that was not much better. I mean, I thought it would be better, but so I had always wanted to run my own business and I always wanted to name something after my dog, Rooney.
Aww.
So yeah, after COVID, speed up a little bit here. Like I was, I tried a couple jobs and then I found a job at a local florist here, and just got like bit by the bug of like, this is a really cool space. I knew nothing about the floral industry, absolutely nothing. So I was taught everything. And then I also went home like every day and practiced and went to the grocery store and bought flowers and brought them home and just played and just like, found my movement through it. And I guess leading up to like officially starting Rooni, like getting a business license and making it like official, I think it was just like, I need to do this. Like I was being told that I didn't have enough time or experience being a designer to be a designer where I was working, even though I was designing where I was working.
That's interesting.
It was kind of like fuck that, I'm gonna do it. I can do it. I can be this. I can do this. I can learn all of this.
Sometimes all you need is that one doubter, that one hater.
For
and
sure.
you're like, I'm gonna prove it to you. I'm gonna prove it to myself first, but I'm also gonna prove it to you. You know?
I think I proved it to myself that I could start a business and I could, grassroots it and just start from scratch and learn and learn and learn. And also listen and watch those people that were telling me that I couldn't do it and just take in every ounce of information I could from them and say, all right, I see you. Like, I can do this too.
Yep.
And just would go home from work and, again, go to the store, get flowers, play, take photographs.
I love that.
Document. A lot of the stuff, if you know me, you know that I will wipe my Instagram, like, right now.
You too.
Like, I don't
like
give a fuck.
I wish I had that power.
No, literally. I have like, I think 2,000 posts right now on Instagram, and I was just thinking about that. I'm like, I kind of hate that because you can literally watch my whole progression. I kind of love it, but I kind of hate it.
Yeah.
Gwen, I've gone to your page multiple times, and it's just no posts. I'm like, where did she go?
I will go to sleep and be like, I hate every single, it's not even just like the arrangement. Sometimes the arrangement's okay, right? But like the photograph and the way that and just how it's showing up visually to me is not working. And I will go to sleep and I will just wipe it and I'll be like, I don't care.
I feel that's gotta be a lot more frequent for you with your photography background.
Yeah.
Like looking at the flow of everything.
Definitely. It's something that, and still, every picture I take is like, does this work? Does it flow? Because I have that like need in my head to have my, we all do Instagram and social media for our businesses. It's like, it has to look a certain way and it has to, each picture has to flow into the next one,
We were actually just talking about that today, all of us.
Oh my God, it drives me insane.
Well, do you feel like your your critical thinking about it do you think it's an asset or a, like, something that's harming you? Yeah, like what's...
I mean, it can be both because a friend of mine last time I went to her house to see her, she had said that she was trying to like recommend me to somebody who was getting married or wanted flowers or something. And she went on my profile and there was like 3 pictures and she's like, wait, I know she's done more work. She was trying to explain to a friend that, I have all this great work and it wasn't there. And she's like, what happened to your Instagram? I'm like, it just didn't look good. Like you didn't
even think of it like that, of like people going to it and thinking that way.
Yeah. And I still think that like, I have 45 posts right now that I'm all really happy. I'm happy with every single one. And like everyone, I would be proud to say this is my work. But to a customer that might be like, oh, she's like new or whatever, like I'm not super established on Instagram. But it comes from that place of like control, OCD, wanting everything to look cohesive and to make sense. So who knows? I might change up my style, but I think I found it.
Who knows?
I found a little bit of a flow.
I think your page looks really nice right now.
It's so nice. It always looks nice. I think the blend of the floral artistry with the visual design and like skill that you have with photography, it's like the perfect duo. Most people, in my opinion, in Delaware specifically, there's some florists that are extremely talented, but they don't encapture the like social media or like the photography. They don't, it's just the florals by itself, so I think you have like definitely a competitive edge by encompassing everything.
I think that's just because I'm
younger. I know, but like no, because you do it really well,
the established
though,
florists in the area, and like
it's
no hate, like they have earned their place in this, in the business in Delaware. Like it's definitely something you have to be good at and put an effort towards to get people our age and younger that are coming up and getting married and need flowers and yada yada, like I never saw myself being a retail florist, which is a florist that has a retail space where you can come and walk into and buy merchandise, buy flowers, talk to people, buy things. Like, when I left Gap in the retail world, I left. Like, I don't want to be doing that for my future. So I kind of keep that at arm's length and just that energy that Rooni is a stylized place to go and like where you go for bigger events, something more artsy than just let me just pump this arrangement out for you. So
yeah, I agree. I love that. On that same topic, how would you describe Rooni's aesthetic? And then what sets you kind of apart from the traditional floral?
The only thing that changes is how I show my work. That's what I think changes. I don't think that what I'm actually making has changed much. Maybe just just gotten better and cleaner in what I want to be designing. I was designing the other day the amaranthyst bow that I made for Claire, who won
I love
good.
that.
the giveaway.
Oh yeah, wait. Side note, by the way, Gwen and I just did a giveaway, a floral arrangement, and then I gave away like a gift certificate, some products and stuff.
Bunch of
But
goodies.
that was super fun. That just
I know.
closed. So yeah, our winner picked up on
It was
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Yesterday. Oh
Feels
my
like a
god, it
week
was like
ago.
not even 24 hours ago. The arrangement that Gwen did was phenomenal. I've never seen
Thank
a
you.
floral bow before, a moss bow, like never in my
It'll
life.
take off.
Oh my god, we're trademarking it.
I was obsessed with
It's
it.
Well,
so
amaranthus is my favorite thing ever.
Oh, it is.
And you can play with it and make shapes, and that's really like what I think my design aesthetic is, just making shapes. And
Good way.
I don't really have a plan when I go in besides the materials that I'm going to use. So like
Okay.
the bow came out of just playing, and Jason, my boyfriend, came down and I was like, look, I made a bow. And he's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm really always just thinking about making shapes and taking up space. I don't know how to describe that as an aesthetic, but
No, I think that's valid.
like
That's-
I'm
that's
very,
good.
very always inspired by fashion and just city life and how things juxtapose. And
If someone gives you no inspiration, like they're just like, I need a floral. Let's say a guy comes in for their partner. They're like, I want a floral arrangement. I want it to be big and pretty, but I have no insight. Do you like that better than someone that's coming in and it's like, I want red, blah, blah, blah? Like, what do you prefer?
well, that sounds like a situation at a retail florist. So, which I don't really like.
Yeah,
and I
you like to
haven't-
have the creative control. Like,
I do.
Yeah.
And I think as far as Rooni's gotten, all of my customers and clients have been either friends or the friends of their friends who trust me. Like there's just this like innate like trust that I've been given, which is all that any person wants in this world, no matter if you're a business owner or not. Like to have a trust of somebody coming to you and asking for something is really important. A friend of my boyfriend's asked for flowers for his wife, and I just asked him any colors, anything I should stay away from. And this was, I think it was the first time he ordered from me. And it was just that, like, I got you. Like, I know
trust.
I know she likes pretty things. I can do pretty things. Like, I got it.
yeah,
You know?
yeah,
So
yeah.
really, like, I think it's more of like, I exude that, like, of like, I got you.
that
know?
definitely makes a difference.
And
for
that's something
people
I
with
say all the
trust,
time.
yeah.
Like, I got you. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
I think your confidence definitely shines through. Like when I've heard you and Brynn talk about like planning a floral arrangement or
Yeah.
even the giveaway or anything, you come across as very sure of yourself and you know what you're doing and you can stand on your own 2 feet.
Even if I don't.
yeah.
That's a good quality to have.
Because I've never
though.
done a giveaway. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is so much work to do. But like,
like
I
you
told her
seem
that I
like
can
you've
do
done
it.
3 giveaways by the way you were talking about it.
And you're very
no.
Yeah.
proactive. So like if
Yeah.
you say you're gonna do something, you do it. You know. And I think that's an amazing quality in business. You're also a Capricorn,
Yes,
so
I am.
very uncoincidental. But yeah, that's an amazing quality to have. Like I think that's something that makes a huge difference in business.
Yeah.
for sure. Okay, so a couple questions centered around entrepreneurship.
Okay.
As a new business owner, what advice would you give to someone that's considering to start their own creative business, not florals, just creative in general? Any generalized advice, little nuggets you want to drop?
I think the more business side is something that I am still learning about. There's probably entrepreneurship classes, but that information is something that my brain does not retain, you know? So maybe having someone to go to for those questions, whether it's like a family member or a friend that is more keen on business acumen, that would be my advice. Because as a creative, you know, like I can implement ideas. I don't know what to call it, but like the process of doing that and
The
getting it out
systems.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can do that. But when it comes to like doing my taxes or whatever, like I'm very terrified of that. Asking for help. That's what I would say.
That's good.
Be confident about your not confidence.
Yeah,
You know, like it's
yeah.
okay to not understand everything.
Yeah.
Especially doing something completely on your own. My boyfriend helps me with everything, but he's not, you know, it's my business at the end of the day. So yeah, asking for help.
That's a good one. I would just piggyback off the confidence thing. Like, I think in the beauty industry, that's super important. I see a lot of newer estheticians that come in and they're super nervous to deliver their results, even if they're confident beforehand. Like, there's always that doubt in the back of your mind. We're like, oh my gosh, are they going to like it? You know, I'm sure the same with you. Like, even if you feel like you slayed it and then, you know, they could have a totally different reaction. So
Yeah.
I think what sets people apart in any really service industry in general is confidence. Like,
Yeah.
people want to feel like you know what you're doing. I'm not saying lie if you don't know what you're doing, but like fake it till you make it kind of thing. Like, you know, you have to have that confidence and that backbone so that people won't walk all over you. You know, it's like.
And your business is way more like high risk than floristry. Like you are
someone's face.
touching people.
Yeah.
Which I'm just giving them flowers.
Yeah, true. If you get a bad floral arrangement, it's like you're mad for the day. But if you get a bad like brow,
like you fuck up my brows, like that's not cool.
Yeah.
So
seriously.
Totally. But
so yeah, confidence, very important in all aspects of life, but definitely in business.
Yeah.
How do you balance both the artistic and the entrepreneurial sides? Like, have you hired? Have you outsourced? Or I know you have family. Like, what's your tactic on like keeping the balance?
I haven't hired anybody. I would love to one day, but the workload is not there yet to hire somebody. If there's something going on, I do my best. I plan. I am like a rate list. I do checklists of like, even on my days off, of like chores or things I need to get done. Like crossing something off is very rewarding to me. So if there's, you know, if I'm prepping for a wedding or something, just going through and mapping out how each day, what needs to get done, and giving myself grace for not getting everything done, because it's obviously not going to go how I wrote it down on a little piece of paper. You know, like I'm going to get tired and I'm going to want to break and I'm going to have something come up.
Do you ever hit like a threshold of like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my mind?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, does it get there?
Yeah, well, I work out of my house.
Yeah.
So that's something that I find is like, I can't stop sometimes. And I'll get up and, you know, I try to work always standing up, just because it feels a little bit better.
That's nice. That's really nice. Like it's good for you to do that.
It is, but
honestly.
like barefoot on hardwood floor for like 8 hours. To get just numb. Like, it's like, oh, I'm fucking tired. But yeah, I try to stand up while I work, just so if I feel a little bit more efficient. But if I go to take a break or something, you know, comes up, like I can't stop thinking about my work because it's right there. So that's a struggle.
Yeah, I can see that.
And also like right now it's a little bit quiet, so like not having a lot to do is like kind of a bummer. And I'm just like, I see my studio and it's like empty. I'm like,
You're like, oh, it's not getting the love it deserves.
Maybe it's like, maybe I'm done. Like, is it over? You know?
Is it over for me?
But it's not, because I have things coming up. But it's like,
Exactly.
it's always in my face.
Yes.
So it is hard to detach from sometimes and really truly rest and not think about my business.
Do you think it ever affects like your work ethic, like your ability to actually get stuff done, or do you think it helps because it's accessible? I guess could be a double like that.
It could be both. Either. But I think it's more of like the mental of like, and I think that I feel like my dad has said this to me before, of like, he's run his own businesses and it's like, that's what you're always thinking about, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But there does have to be a break, you know, like you have to find a way to take a break, especially when it's in your house. Totally. So yeah, it can go both ways.
Okay, let's talk some challenges and successes. So what challenges, you can give one example or just generalized challenges, did you face when transitioning to floristry and starting your own business?
This is probably, I really can't think of any, because I did it quietly.
Love that for you.
I mean, I had a job, so I just did it quietly. And like I said, go home with flowers or bring flowers home. And once I had a business license and everything was like legit, I could order from wholesalers. I could order flowers. I really just kind of quietly started Rooni. It wasn't like, I'm going to leave my job. I mean, I wanted to do that. Of course. Of course. Yeah. Nobody wants to be working full time while you're trying to start your own business and get away from that. But it just kind of happened quietly. I think the first thing I did was my cousin of mine, her bridal shower. She had already had her wedding flowers picked out, but her mom wanted me to do her bridal shower. So that was really my first experience of like working with my invoicing platform, Honeybook. I don't know if you heard of that, but figuring that out and sending it to a family member first time, not just like a random stranger that just wants to give you money. It was like my aunt. And I was like, I don't want to ask for too much, but this is what it's valued at. This is what I want to value my time at.
Have you ever had a hard time with price confidence? I'm sure in the beginning, I feel like everyone has a little bit of hesitation when they tell someone their price, but has that ever been like a big thing for you, or you're pretty confident in where you stand?
A little bit of both. I think I go through it every time. I always come back to like, this is what I need to ask for. This is my work value. This is the actual price of the flowers. This is my minimum for my time, or minimum for what they're asking for. It's not a number that you pull out of the thin air. Like there's math to it, and there's, you know, I want to make a profit because I'm doing work, you know, and I'm spending time doing this work. So I should be paid for it. And I think my first experience being with a family member who would, like, I had asked for her budget. What's your budget? And I always ask that of somebody. And I worked within that, and that felt fair. And she was happy. My cousin was over the moon. Like, everybody complimented everything. I felt good. Like, it was a great experience.
That's really good.
So I don't think you deal with budgets or anything. You set your own prices, but it's different for me of like, obviously there's
have some wiggle room.
Yes. And I don't know, I think floristry or flowers, especially for weddings, is an area that people always think that should be less. It should not be that expensive. They're just flowers.
Yeah, that's interesting to me because I don't think like that. Like, I'm like, there's so much artistry and skill that goes into it, but a lot of people do think like that. But at the same time, okay, if you're that type of person, go to Acme and grab a little rose bouquet. You'll be fine. Keep it pushing. But you know, that's definitely.
But
like
if you want somebody who I had a call the other day with somebody just looking for a bouquet, and I was like, you book me, like I'm planning your bouquet from here on out. Like, it's on my mind. And you're not going to get that from Acme. Like, they don't care.
Seriously.
Or Trader Joe's. Like, they don't care.
Yeah, they don't.
You know, so it's about what the customer and what that person wants. Do they want to work with somebody and give money to somebody who cares deeply and wants to provide something that you have been dreaming about or really envision or want a specific way, you know, or do you want to pick it up the day before and just have some flowers in your hand? You know, it's all about what they want. But I think as time's gone on over this year and a half almost of like, this is what I'm worth. You know, I have to tell myself that, like, I am worth somebody paying for me to do this.
That can be hard.
Yeah.
But necessary. Like, obviously, this is a business at the end of the day. People bring that up about the beauty industry a lot with, like, pricing is just always a discourse of conversation because you can be in the same city and have one person that does a lash full set for $50 and then another that does it for $275. There's no right or wrong. Like, it's just what you're setting your value to. It is, like, skill-based as well. Like, it takes a lot of time and practice and trainings and things like that. But there's always people that have
and
something
quality
to say.
of what you're using,
and
too.
yeah, quality of product plays into it. Like, for sure. We get, like, walk-in. We're in the city. We get walk-ins, like, all the time where they're just asking questions, stuff like that. Like, I would say less than half. It's always just someone that comes up and, like, they're, like, asking, oh, how much is a custom facial? Or we're like, okay, it starts at $100, which honestly, market value wise is low. Like, for facials, that's a low cost. They'll be like, oh my God. And we're just like, okay, like, you know, like, I don't care because I know that that's the value. And I'm even undershotting my value in my opinion. So I'm like, you know what? That's fine. You can think that. Just don't, you know.
I think like the first month I worked here, I memorized half of the prices within like 2 weeks just from the sheer amount of people coming in and just asking for pricing.
Yeah. It's very interesting. But I think with things like florals, beauty, things that people glorify and look at as just like, like your job is so easy.
It's
and
a
fun.
luxury. Yeah.
It is a luxury. At the end of the day, it is a luxury. But I think, you know, there's always going to be those people that want to diminish your value or think that you should charge less. But you have to, that's where the confidence comes into play is you have to have enough confidence to just not care about their opinion. And now if everyone's saying it, if 99% of the population saying it, maybe take a look at your pricing. But
take
like,
a hint maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But like majority of the time, it's just these random people throughout, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why finding your target market, your target demographic, those things are very important. So, okay, not a lot of challenges in like a outwardly bad way. They might have been like minuscule things, but I actually love that for you.
Thank you.
Some people make huge mistakes and it's hard to come back from. So like I love that that's your experience. How about any memorable projects, events that stand out as kind of like a milestone in your experience so far?
I guess my first wedding.
That is a big deal.
Yeah.
That's really big.
And that was another family member, my cousin by choice, Chelsea. I had known that her and her now husband were already married, but she wanted me to do flowers. I think like from the baby first inception of me like showing that I was working with flowers on Instagram. When she picked her date and venue and all that stuff, we were like, okay, it's time to plan this. Went back and forth a lot communicating, and she bounced a lot of ideas off me. The day setting up was insane. Like that was my first time setting up a wedding by myself.
Do you remember how many individual arrangements you made?
Well, it was a ceremony installation piece, and then we did bud vases on the tables. And I did, I think, 8 bridesmaid bouquets, her bouquet, and then I think 10 or 11 boutonnieres.
Oh, wow.
Had Lego people.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm obsessed with that.
It was a really fun, really unique ideas. Jason and I were also guests, so it was like, who were those two sweaty rat-looking people running around, and now they're here having dinner?
They're covered in flower petals. What are they doing?
Like, we were exhausted, but it was fun and an experience. Probably my best, and also like, wow, these are big challenges. Being the person that the planner's going to and be like, what's happening? And it was very rewarding. Like, I don't think there was a moment where I stopped like moving at that setup. Like, it was just like, you got to figure this out and go, go, go.
I think also coming from a retail background,
Yeah.
that's like ingrained.
Yeah.
I work in the restaurant industry and it always gets compared to the retail. It's like, you're on, you have to work well under pressure. And I don't think you ever lose that ability once you have it.
Totally. I never worked in food, and I hopefully never will.
Okay, sorry the camera cut out, so we don't know if we were like mid-sentence. We probably were, but we're gonna keep pushing. Ooh, okay. Is there a dream ideal event that you would want to style in the future, like a bucket list event?
Maybe something for like a clothing brand. Like, so
like Fashion Week type?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like, I've always been inspired by fashion and like street style, obviously. I really only pay attention to the florists, the women that are like 5 years ahead of me, that are doing like, they have the weeklies of like Louis Vuitton and like all these cool stores and like florists in California and Miami and New York. And I'm like, what are they doing? So yeah, I'm really inspired by the florists that do either it's like set design for, you know, Adidas or Nike, or like parties that they throw, corporate events that they throw. Yeah, I always think that the work that I see on those kind of projects is just like out of this world. Like, I don't know, it's just really inspiring to me to work with some kind of large brand.
I love that. I can totally see that.
Me
I can
too.
envision it now. So now we're gonna get into a couple quick fun and personal questions.
Okay.
I feel like personal is the wrong word. Like, they're not like personal life, but like personal, you know, personality wise. First one. If you could create a floral arrangement for anyone living or dead, who would it be and why?
That's a good question. The only person coming up in my mind is Jake Gyllenhaal, because I've been like obsessing over him the last couple of days because I watched that show, Presumed Innocent, and it was amazing.
Wait, I'm dying because that's like the last person I would have ever thought of.
It would be weird and cool, and I think he'd really like it.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be someone random, because that is the real answer.
That's my true answer.
That's such a good answer, though.
One next.
I don't know, maybe like a Dorit. Just for like, I got you, girl. Like, I
Wait.
see you. What?
I love Dorit.
I'm a housewives girl.
I'm obsessed with Dorit. I'm obsessed with her.
I love her style, and I think she's cool, and I think
that's a good answer.
She's always super out of the box and like trying new things.
Yeah.
Next one. What is your favorite flower to work with, and why does it speak to you? You already answered this earlier, but I want to know why.
Oh,
Well,
amaranthus.
yeah.
There's a lot. I think I like more of the ones that are super long lasting. Anthurium is probably a favorite of mine, and I love orchids. I love working with orchids. I don't have any that I really don't like. I think it's really interesting when I'm talking to somebody and they're like, I hate this. Like, I hate it.
There has to be like a personal experience related
Probably.
to that. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
This is a little bit of a funky question. I don't know how I would answer this if someone asked me, but if Rooni Studio were a beauty product, what do you think it would be and why?
I think we would be like a sunscreen.
Ooh, okay. Tell me
You know
more.
Because my dog Rooney, she loves to lay in the sun.
I'm gonna cry.
I'm serious.
Wait, that's so
Because you know me,
pretty.
I'm barefaced all the time. I do the absolute bare minimum of care for my skin.
And you're still glowing.
She's so glowing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's the pollen.
It's the lack.
It's all the oxygen
pollen.
she's
Yeah,
getting from
exactly.
the flowers.
all the fresh air.
clean ass air.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite scent to work with from the flowers that you work with? Like, do you have a favorite scent out of all of them?
Gardenia is beautiful.
Yeah. If you could swap professions for a day with someone, who would it be and why?
I don't know. I think I would try something in like the food or healthcare industry just to experience those things. And then I would want to like be any one of the florists in New York that I follow, because the New York market is insane. The flower market is insane. They are just so talented up there. It's crazy.
Do you have a favorite, like a specific favorite floral designer?
Her name is Rachel Wayne, and her account is Bloom, BLXXM.
Ooh, okay.
She's just cool. She's really cool.
She's just cool. I love her. What flower do you think would make the best inspiration for a lipstick shade?
I'm going to say a rose. That's the first thing that came to me. There are varieties of roses that have different shades in them, and like as you peel it back, they like show themselves.
Okay, last question for today to tie us with you. If you were to collaborate with a beauty brand, how would you incorporate floral design into the product or packaging? It could be skincare, it could be like makeup, lipstick, fragrance, like you can encompass any like beauty.
My first thought was putting real flowers like on as like
that would be
eye
sick.
makeup or something, or like in hair. I don't want this to be over.
I know, I'm having so much fun. This is so fun. I wish I had more questions. We could have kept it going, but
I'm like trying to
we'll just do it
think.
again.
Yeah.
We'll just have another episode. This is just introduction to Gwen episode. So, before I do my affirmation poll, I want to have you kind of just plug, like, where can people find you if they want to book a flower arrangement? How can they do it?
I am on Instagram. My handle is at This Is Rooni, spelled ROONI. And my website, roonistudio.com. I have an ordering platform for local delivery. And if you're looking for florals for an event or a wedding or just something more than a local delivery, just fill out my form and I will email you back immediately.
I love how easy that is.
It's so easy. Yeah. I mean, I'll take a DM too, but I'd rather it come through my website.
Yeah, I love it.
I got you.
So yeah, check her out. Check Gwen out on
thank you.
social media, website. Done an amazing job,
Thanks,
Gwen.
Mom.
Thank you so much for coming. I had so much fun. And before
Give
you
me
go,
a card.
Pick a card, any card. Read it out loud for the class.
My authentic self is my most powerful state.
Oh,
I love that.
That's actually perfect for like everything you were talking about today.
for
Confidence,
sure.
authenticity.
Power.
Love
Standing on
it.
business.
Love
I love
it.
that.
All right, Olivia, get over here.
My card, guys.
Yeah, share.
I actually really like this one. I owe it to myself to do all the things that I dream of.
Oh, I love that.
And that resonates real hard.
Oh, cute. I love it. I pulled, I remember to honor my collection of beautiful victories. I've never pulled this
That's
card ever.
sweet.
There's so
Really?
many like repeat offenders in this deck where like almost every time I get the same ones, but I love that. I've never gotten this one before.
I like that one.
That's good.
Love it. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, you can find us on Instagram at DeCourcy Beauty, at DeCourcy Beauty Lounge. Our websites are also linked in there as well. And then all things podcast. We have a link tree with pretty much all of our links in it, so just check that out. Olivia, where can they find you?
You can find me at Grusco's Guild, GRUSKOSGUILD.
Yeah, so thank you guys again for listening. Love you. Hope you have the best day ever, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Yay! Good job, guys.